All right, guys. So we have more WNBA players who are not stars coming out and addressing the potential lockout, as we are just a couple days away from the deadline. We are only a couple days away, guys. So we got some more players coming out. Steph Talbot, a WNBA veteran, not a star, someone who was not welcome at Unrivaled, someone who was not welcome to Project B. I already showed what Deja Kelly had to say, as she let it be known she is scared, literally scared, for a lockout now.
Explosive, divisive, career-ending for some. With a CBA deadline hanging over the WNBA, whispers of betrayal have become public outrage, and the fallout is hitting star players, role players, and the league itself. Tonight, why some players say the union has abandoned them, how rival leagues like Project B and Unrivaled are changing the axis of power, and why Caitlin Clark's name is now at the center of a storm she hasn't publicly started. This is the story no one wants to ignore.
For a lockout, now we have more people coming out and stating more of the same. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. Sorry, I am on the road. It's the holidays. I'm not home, not at the studio. Got to do what I got to do. So, I'm going to read y'all this article, right? And I'm going to put this article in the description on the video so you can look at it yourself. And the first thing it says, fears for WNL stars with looming WNBA agreement. Now, these are some players who play.
By early December, the WNBA and its players face a make-or-break CBA deadline. The league has reportedly offered major raises, max salaries above $1.1 million, minimums rising, and average salaries climbing, but the union's leadership pushed for revenue sharing instead of fixed pay increases. That difference could cost the 2026 season and thousands of livelihoods.
Right? And I'm going to put this article in the description on the video so you can look at it yourself. And the first thing it says, fears for WNL stars with looming WNBA agreement. Now, these are some players who play professionally in Australia as well when the WNBA is not in season. So they are seeing it as, once this agreement is done, they could potentially only play in the WNBA now. They won't have to play in another overseas league and all of that. All of the things that a lot of these women were claiming, the reasons that they...
For many players beyond the superstars, a season canceled isn't an inconvenience, it's a catastrophe. Players like Deja Kelly, Steph Talbot, and Jade Melbourne have publicly said they're worried about a lockout and what it means for their careers.
All of the things that a lot of these women were claiming, the reasons that they wanted more pay from the WNBA so they didn't have to play overseas, but they're about to get more pay from the WNBA, but they also want to be able to play in Unrivaled and play in overseas in Project B. These players actually meant it. They did not want to have to play in other leagues beyond the WNBA. So let's take a look, listen to the article here. It says the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement will set a precedent for other women's sports, but risks taking talent away from WNBL. The American League is currently in negotiations with players.
Here's the bargaining fork. The league offered big fixed hikes, which would immediately lift minimums and averages, while the WNBPA leadership has pushed for revenue-sharing models that could deliver more long-term upside but are less guaranteed in the short term. For players a paycheck away from financial ruin, that's not an abstract debate, it's survival.
Listen to the article here. It says the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement will set a precedent for other women's sports but risk taking talent away from WNBL. The American League is currently in negotiations with Players Union to settle on a CBA by December 1st. We just a few days away, guys. And it says, and has reportedly offered to increase the maximum salary to more than $1.1 million. Base wages are expected to jump from $220,000 to $338,000. The average salary will more than triple its currently $130,000. Okay, whatever. However, negotiations...
Now it gets explosive. Several players and commentators allege a conflict of interest, that some WNBPA leaders have financial ties to rival leagues like Project B or Unrivaled while negotiating the CBA. The optics, negotiating a deal that could shrink the WNBA's dominance while personally benefiting from alternative ventures.
We have been saying we feel like it's a conflict of interest where you have Nneka Ogwumike accepting a multi-million-dollar deal with Project B while being the president on the board for the WNBPA, negotiating a new CBA. You got Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier who are on the board, but they are co-founders of a competitor league, Unrivaled. All of these things we've called a conflict of interest, and now we are starting to see the players that it would truly affect. I mean, really affect. If there is a lockout, we're starting to see the...
Why do Project B and Unrivaled matter? Because they give elite players more options. If the WNBA stalls, players have alternative high-paying platforms, and that alters bargaining leverage and the economics of women's basketball.
The players that it would truly affect, I mean, really affect, if there is a lockout, we're starting to see them come out and speak. I read you guys the article where Deja Kelly said, I'm trying to establish myself and show that I can play in the league, and I'm trying to have a job. I'm trying to have a job. I'm not trying to go no 2026 season. I'm playing in Athletes Unlimited, and I'm trying to make me a WNBA roster spot. I want a consistent job. A lockout is not beneficial to me. I need the job.
Take a step back. Stars with endorsements and alternative income can weather a lost season. The majority of roster players cannot. That's why the everyday WNBA player is furious. They see leadership pursuing long-term gains while risking short-term collapse.
Get the deal done. I want to get a deal done so that I don't have to do this. My body feels like crap. The WNBA is offering, I think it's a fair offer. And with that money, I would not have to come over here and play in the WNBL. I could rest and I can do training and get ready for the next season. I don't have to beat my body to hell to rush overseas to play. I don't want a lockout. Let's sign the deal. JC Shelburne, not welcomed at Project B. Not a part of 3-on-3 Unrivaled.
Your headline asks, where is Caitlin Clark in all this? Clark is the WNBA's biggest recent star. Her presence brought attention, fans, and revenue. That has created intense public pressure. However, as of our reporting, Caitlin Clark has not issued a public statement explicitly saying she's furious at the WNBPA. What we can confirm is, team and fan reaction, plus the league's momentum around Clark, mean any labor disruption would be particularly damaging, and that's why many headlines speculate about Clark's frustration. Because she's an economic driver, even rumors that she's upset amplify the story, but we must distinguish reported facts from viral speculation. There are 3 practical outcomes. 1. A deal before the deadline that mixes fixed raises and staged revenue sharing. 2. A short lockout/extension that delays the season and off-season plans. Or 3. A prolonged work stoppage with devastating consequences for many players and for league expansion plans. Some outlets report the parties have already agreed to short extensions in recent days. Negotiations could continue into January if both sides consent. Let the players speak again. I want a consistent job, Deja Kelly. My body feels like crap, Jade Melbourne. This could end careers, numerous fringe players. Those lines explain why tension is high. This is a crossroads for women's basketball, a chance to secure generational pay and professionalism, or risk hurting the many who made the league what it is. If you care, follow the facts, listen to the players who have the most to lose, and demand transparency from the union and league. We'll keep tracking every development.